Hi, I'm Nick, and this is why Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time. Today I'm going to tell you how he stacks up to the other greats statistically, what are some myths about his era of basketball, and how has his legacy impacted basketball as a sport as a whole. So how does the GOAT stack up to his competition? Well, from Basketball Reference, I got these stats. His career points per game sits at 30.1. His playoff points per game sits at 33.5, both of which are NBA records. He holds the record for most scoring titles of any player ever. He scored 10 titles in 15 seasons, so that's 2/3 of the time he was playing, he was winning the scoring title. He holds the record for most NBA Finals MVP at 6, and nobody else has more than 4, and LeBron James is the one with 4. And here's a little picture of all his scoring seasons. According to StatMuse, Mike has the second most MVP awards of all time with 5. He trails only Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who has 6, but Kareem played 6 more seasons than Michael. Mike won 1/3 of the MVP awards that were available when he was in the league. He won 6 championships, which is tied with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kobe Bryant and Magic Johnson both only have 5, and LeBron James only has 4. In some research done by Sportskeeda, I learned that Michael Jordan has the most game-winning shots of any player ever with 9. This trumps Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and Joe Johnson with 8. This means that he is statistically the most clutch player of all time, and pictured here is his most clutch shot ever in the 1998 NBA Finals to win the championship. His other records include the only player to earn more money than his entire team. He had the most points per game in one final series with 41. He's the only player to win the MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and scoring title all in the same season, and he has the most trophies in NBA history. And here's him pictured after Father's Day, winning a championship on Father's Day, his first championship. And then here's him pictured with all his trophies. So what are some myths about his era of basketball? Some people like to say that Michael Jordan only played against plumbers. This is people making fun of the physical appearance of his competition. So I did some research, and from Yandri at medium.com, Mike played tougher teams in the playoffs in his era than even LeBron James, according to the strength of schedule stat, which is just the record of all his opponents in the playoffs combined. Michael Jordan played against great athletes. He played against Hakeem Olajuwon, who's a 2-time champ and the all-time NBA blocks leader. He played against Clyde Drexler, who's a 10-time All-Star in his career. He played against Karl Malone, who's second on the all-time scoring list. He played against John Stockton, who's the all-time assist leader in NBA history. So I think it's impossible to say that he played against weak competition. And here's his competition compared to LeBron James's competition. People like to try and say that Mike played in a weak era of basketball. MJ played against more physical defense than even the modern era, with hip checking allowed, which is putting your hands on the defender's hip, on your offensive player's hip, and the refs letting more contact slide. In The Last Dance documentary, Pistons guard Isaiah Thomas states that they had Jordan rules, which were rules that the Detroit Pistons specifically used for guarding Michael Jordan. Rule number 1, on the wings, push him to the elbow, don't let him drive baseline. Rule number 2, when he's on top, influence him to his left. Rule number 3, when he got the ball in the low post, trap him from the top. And if he gets in the paint, knock him to the ground. What effect has Mike's legacy had on basketball? The Chicago Bulls were a failing franchise before drafting Jordan. The NBA was struggling financially, and he single-handedly helped put the Bulls and the NBA back on the map. He made basketball more exciting to watch, which helped bring a massive viewership increase to NBA basketball. He made basketball the exciting sport that it is today, and here's him pictured on draft day. Bleacher Report argues that Michael Jordan laid the blueprint for every superstar that came after him. Everyone wants to be like Mike. He set the standard for superstars in the future. His work ethic and attitude, everyone tries to emulate. His high-flying dunks influence future guards to play above the rim, which really helped make basketball more exciting. So in conclusion, Jordan holds many records, and he trumps everyone before and after him on the stat sheet. He played in a tougher era of basketball than people give him credit for, and he kept many greats from winning championships. His legacy has made basketball what it is today. Without Mike, there's no Kobe or LeBron, etc. Thanks for listening, and this is my bibliography.